Hi, Solveigh. Thanks so much for coming today.
Yep, thank you for having me.
I'd like to talk about your nanny experience. Can we first start by talking about your first job as a nanny? So when you first moved here, you were working for a family, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about that job and the responsibilities?
Yep, the first job I had when I moved out to Connecticut was with a family with 3 girls, ages 3, 5, and 7.
Okay.
And I was responsible for all 3 of them. I often would drive the 3-year-old to kindergarten in the morning, take the 7-year-old, or the 3-year-old to pre-K, and the 5-year-old to kindergarten, and then walk the 7-year-old over to first grade. They actually live next to their school. And then I would pick up the pre-kindergartner in the middle of the day and bring her home and feed her lunch. And then I would go get the kindergartner and often bring the 3-year-old with me.
Okay, because you were on.
Yeah.
You were running that household. The parents were not home.
The parents were home, but
it was your responsibility.
Yeah, it was my responsibility.
Okay. Okay, so you always had all 3 children. I mean, if they weren't in school.
Part.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you do any of the cooking in that position?
I prepared food for
Okay.
the kids, like lunch for the littlest one, and then dinner for all 3 of them.
Okay. And what about laundry? Any like light housekeeping?
Yeah, I did that on occasion, and I would like clean their whole house at the end of the day after I put the kids to bed.
Okay.
Not
so
like
how were you
clean, but like make
when?
sure
Okay, so when the kids were sleeping,
mm-hmm.
and how were you able to manage, the children and like preparing meals? With a 3 and a 5-year-old, I mean that can be a little difficult. And throwing a 7-year-old in there as well, obviously. So how did you manage that? How were you able to keep them entertained?
Well, I did. They were girls, and I did a lot of like fun art activities with them because I'm an artist and a singer.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
So I would often put them at the table with coloring books and crayons and like start drawing with them and like get them interested in something.
And then as they were engaged, then you went and did your other work. Okay, that's great. And then, so then you took a full-time position. You left that job because you need something full-time, and then you took a position in Westport, and the children were older.
Yeah. Well, 2 of the kids were 7 and 9 when I started, and the mother was pregnant, so she had her baby 2 months in, and I had him from birth till 18 months.
Okay, so your responsibility was the baby when the other kids were in school.
Yeah.
Okay, and you did all of the responsibilities for a baby, like the bottles and all that kind of stuff.
She actually only did breastfeeding.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, I did all the other stuff like changing diapers and preparing meals and feeding him and putting him down for naps.
And your job was stimulating him as well. Okay. And so did you do the cooking and the cleaning in that household as well?
They had a housekeeper, so I didn't do any of the cleaning, but I would help prepare food for the baby and the snacks for the older kids when they were home.
Okay. And that job was over 2 years, correct?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. And you left that job because the hours were long, right? You had 12-hour days?
Yeah.
And you wanted something with more consistency? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And have you made nannying your career job?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And before you were here in Connecticut, you're from Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
Okay. And before you were here, you also nannied at home, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were a head counselor, is that correct?
Yeah, I was a horseback riding instructor and a head counselor for their camp, so I worked with kids aged 4 to 14 in their riding camps and riding lessons, and there are often as many as 17 kids around that we had.
Okay, so you've been around children for a very long time. Okay. And what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to go play with my boyfriend's 2 nephews who are 1 and 3, and just kind of be around family and friends.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you obviously spend a lot of your time with children. Okay, that's great. And if you had an ideal nanny job, what would it be?
It would be like 8 to 6, Monday through Friday, like, very regimented, so I could have my own
time,
life.
Right? That's important, right, for you to have your own time as well.
And to have, I actually prefer younger kids and just taking them to different activities and having the freedom to like take them to the park or take them to the Stepping Stones Museum or something and just kind of having fun with them.
Right. And do you like having the responsibility of taking charge of the whole household, like the dinners and the laundry and the children, and do you like having that responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely type A organization, so I
Okay.
really
So you
like to
that.
be in control and
Okay.
organize
Okay.
things.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
Yep.